head is hurt?
Yeah, she'd point to her head. She's like, "Daddy, my head hurts." And I thought maybe she was playing hard or whatever, had a headache. But then I thought it was for attention because she was like, "Daddy, my head hurts. Will you kiss it?" And I kissed it. And then she's like, "That's better, thanks." And she went and played.
How often would she tell you that?
She's probably told me that 3 times. And I even asked the neurosurgeon. I told him, I said, this is what she told me. I said, "Is this something that could have been happening or going on within the last few weeks?" You know what I mean? And he said, no. He said that the trauma that she had to her head happened within the last few hours. I know it didn't happen at my house because we fell asleep on the couch. She woke up on the couch. And then Lindsay said she fell.
With all of this in mind, investigators weren't quite done with Lindsay yet. It wasn't long before police were at her front door again. 2 detectives paid a visit to Lindsay's home around 9 a.m. the very next morning and summoned her to the station. They explained that they wanted to clarify some details of her story and talk with her a little more about Jason. Initially, Lindsay told detectives that she couldn't come to the station right away since no one would be available to watch her daughters until later that afternoon. However, the officers insisted that Lindsay needed to come with them immediately. Just a little while later, Lindsay and her 2 daughters were in her van, following officers down to the police station. Once in the interrogation room, investigators got to questioning Lindsay more about Hannah. Lindsay's explanation of what had happened that day simply wasn't matching up to the reality of Hannah's injuries. In order to possibly clear Lindsay's name, detectives needed an explanation for every single injury found on Hannah's body the day she was admitted into the hospital.
We're going to show you some pictures.
Okay.
But, so we just kind of want you to point out all the bruises and all the small little nicks and scratches that you were aware of.
Gotcha.
And exactly how they happened and all that stuff. Okay.
Yes.
We got quite a few.
Okay.
They may or may not be easy to look at,
Okay.
Asking a non-parent caregiver to explain every small scratch, scrape, and bruise is an interesting tactic. This is a way to elicit both conflicting statements and prior knowledge, both useful depending on which direction the investigation goes, determining whether or not this is a case of aggravated assault versus criminal gross negligence.
Exactly where she fell and on her chin. Her hand didn't even hit. Like what she was doing, and I can show you how she was running like this, and then looked back and went like that. Literally.
Did she slide? Or?
No, it was just bam. Bam.
When describing the hit, her hands and verbal bam don't line up. Mismatched verbal and physical gestures are a red flag that the words from her brain aren't matching up with her actions, and there is some cognitive disconnect often associated with dishonesty.
Yeah. She got right back up and kept running. I said, "Hey, are you okay? I'm okay."
So all of these small little bruises and the ones on the chin.
Yes, I know about those right there.
And even the one on the neck.
Yes, I remember the one on the chin. Yep.
And the neck there.
Yep.
That's all from that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You saw, I mean,
The next,
that's
it was,
up,
yes.
up under her chin like that. So she would have been extended pretty far.
She went like that. Yeah.
Okay. And what day did this happen?
Tuesday.
Okay. This week.
Yes.
Okay.
Tuesday when it was nice out. It was
Is that the same day?
noon, 11 that morning. We went out before lunch.
Okay.
Same day as the train?
No, the train was Wednesday.
What day? Okay.
Yeah,
So which side did she fall on Wednesday when she fell off the train?
her right.
Her right side.
Yes, she smacked her face on the right.
Her right side on the train?
Yeah, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Her right side. Correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry, I'm trying
Okay.
to
No,
think
you're
of
fine.
everything
You're
that's...
fine. So it's probably that wasn't the train then?
Is that the
Because
left
that's on
side?
her left
Oh,
side.
yeah. I obviously cannot tell my right from my left.
No, it's.
Yeah,
But
I
you're,
don't know.
but you're sure that she fell on her right side off the train?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm positive.
Positive. Okay. All right.
So I didn't actually see the train. I haven't seen the train. How tall is the train?
About that high off the ground. And she
Okay.
was standing up on it,
Yeah.
doing the surfing thing.
Yeah.
And it went out from the side and she went down like that. Her arms back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
smacked.
Smack the right side of her face?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I freaked out and ran out there. I'm like, "Are you okay?" She jumped back up and she said, "Yeah, I'm fine." I said, "Let's go put ice on it. Let's sit down and play Barbie."
What was she complaining of?
Headache. Her head hurt.
Jason was also asked about this incident.
Any type of falls, injuries to your daughter, anything at right then?
She told me that she got up on that toy and the toy came out from under her and she hit her face on the handlebar and it gave her a black eye.
Okay. She tell you what kind of toy it was?
It was a little 4-wheel plastic bike, I guess, or maybe like a little scooter type deal, little toddler toy they can roll herself around on.
Okay. And that's what she actually slipped on?
That's what, yeah, it was a little train. And she stood up on the seat. Instead of sitting on it, she stood up on it.
Okay.
As soon as she stood up on it, Lindsay said it kicked out from under her.
Okay.
So she didn't have time to get up.
So the eye that you were,
Oh, it's
you
her left
noticed the
side.
left
I don't
side.
even
Right,
know.
yeah.
It is her. She fell on her face on the side off the choo-choo train. I'm not. The pictures and mirroring is not good for me.
Well, that's how she would be looking at you.
Yeah.
But if you were
Gotcha.
putting ice on her face, obviously.
It was, yeah, it was
That's
the
how
left
you've been
side. I'm
looking at
sorry.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm so
Okay.
That's fine.
yeah.
So when she fell off the train,
Yes, she did. Yep,
she hit her face.
yep.
Now you're saying that it's the left side of
Yeah, I was thinking because she fell to the left.
This is the first change Lindsay made to her story. However, it won't by any means be the last. Be warned, these changes only get more graphic and tell a steadily more horrifying story.
You were saying the right side. None of this was on her right side from the train, you're saying?
No, that's from the gravel.
Okay.
She literally bit it,
Okay.
full force running.
And you said when she totally bit it, her head was going down towards the ground.
Yeah, she smacked her chin.
Her chin right here?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's a problem. There's no mark directly on the point of her chin. We're looking
There's
at marks.
very little to no bruising right here in the middle. It's on the left
Yeah.
Yeah.
and on the right.
Like I said, I was far away too. I
And
was way
then-
behind them, so.
And then up underneath.
Underneath.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when people fall,
You're going to have bruising on the sharp points. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's going to be this point, none here, and then some here. Or if you're over here, you're going to have some here.
And she could have.
Or you'll
I don't
have
know.
some.
I honestly,
Or you'll have some
I was
here.
just coming out of the door and
If
then
you
took
fall
off.
straight forward, you're not going to have.
Adding the word honestly to her statement is known as a perception qualifier, the purpose of which is to make one statement sound more credible. Detectives will be listening for qualifiers, but they're generally only seen as red flags if there are multiple qualifiers used within a short period of time.
Bruising over here, and none in the middle.
Yeah.
And
The
then
bruising would have been here, and up underneath there would have been no bruising.
that's a soft spot that your body naturally protects. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
the way your body
That's why it's
folds.
tucked in like
Well, it's
that.
tucked
Yeah.
in. And that's where we're getting, that's why we wanted to come down and fill in some of these holes.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, honestly, I've been pretty honest with you this morning, a lot of these aren't adding up to a fall in the gravel.
Yeah.
And here's another thing on the chest. Once again, you don't have to be a doctor. You've got to be a mom,
Yeah.
like a dad. Okay. You see that bruise?
Mhm.
What's that kind of look like?
Is it older?
Older. Yeah.
Different.
Older. There's some yellowing all through here, and then see this here?
Mhm.
That looks. What would you say?
Older.
To me, that looks brand new.
Oh, okay.
That
I
looks
don't.
newer than even.
Okay.
these.
Yeah. See, I don't know.
So what it kind of looks like is that these are all from a different time.
Yeah. And like I said, she is wild. I don't think that she's been. I really don't think that she's been hurt.
Like I said, is a referral statement intended to raise someone's belief in a story, because the more you repeat something, the more other people believe it. She's also significantly increased her hair flipping, moving, and face stroking, all of which are self-soothing techniques associated with anxiety and deception.
Now this is from a senior neurologist. Okay?
Yeah.
He's telling us that the brain injury that she sustained was absolutely not 24 hours prior or even an hour prior. The injury that caused this, or the incident that caused this brain injury
Yeah.
was immediate. So whatever happened did not happen prior to her getting to your house. It was
I
absolutely
believe
instant.
you.
Okay. So if you believe us that it's instant, you're agreeing that, okay, she fell because she got hit or something happened. Something caused this, okay, in her head. She fell because of that. All right? What caused that?
What accident caused this?
She fell in the door and hit the concrete step. She
When?
tripped Thursday morning.
Walking into the house?
Yes. So when I opened up the door, she was coming through and she slipped on that concrete step and the metal part. She hit the metal part on her eye.
Which door?
The
back
one,
door or
yeah,
into the house?
going into the house, the carpet. And so I got her back up, and she stood up and looked up at me and did say, "I want donut and couch," and then collapsed.
Lindsay changed her story for a second time in an attempt to justify the chilling injuries Hannah suffered to her eye. To detectives, Lindsay had started showing signs of being a habitual liar. It's possible that she could have a personality disorder, such as antisocial or narcissistic personality disorder, which would explain why she lied so convincingly. Even still, detectives didn't seem to be buying into her story.
So then she gets up. Is the stuff about, do you want to go back to bed or what? Is that all that true? Just ask-
Yeah, she got back up and
She
looked at
got
me
up.
and said, "Donut, I want
Asked
bunny
for a
and couch."
donut.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then collapsed.
And then collapsed. Okay.
And I thought she was having a seizure. I didn't think that was her. I thought that the Wednesday was her.
Listen to me. That's not what happened to you.
The detective interrupts her when she tries to claim she thought it was a seizure. The more someone tells a lie, the more confident they may become about it. And the detective doesn't want that to happen here. Instead, he wants to shake Lindsay's confidence so that she'll continue to get closer to confessing what really happened to Hannah.
It is, I promise.
That's not what happened.
When Lindsay makes this declarative statement, one of her palms is up while the other is facing down. This could indicate that she may feel conflicted about what she is saying, as it is an unconfident body position. If she'd been feeling confident in her statement, both palms would likely have been down.
It is.
The doctor said when this injury occurred, she was out. We've come a long way. We got past that. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right there. You're right there.
Confrontation with evidence counter to a suspect's story is commonly employed by the Reed interrogation method. What's interesting here is the investigators using medical forensic evidence in this case. Often it's crime scene or statement evidence, so this is interesting to see in an interrogation.
Thank you.
When I opened the door, I dropped her. And I slipped and fell.
Tell us what happened.
So I slipped on her blanket when I opened the door, and we both went down, and she hit that concrete step really hard.
Where at? On her head?
On her face,
Where?
yeah, because I was holding her on the left side. And when I slipped, it hit her side. I actually hit my head on the door coming down, but she smacked her face, her head really hard on the concrete step.
Okay. And then what happened?
We got up. I tried to get her to come to. She did ask me for a donut and couch out in the garage, not inside, but she did when we first walked in. And Jason walked out. She
So now you're saying she asked that before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I fell, and she fell.
Where were you at when you fell?
Against the door, trying to get the door open. I was holding her. The blanket was kind of like falling because he had handed her to me, and I put her down, and then I picked her. No, he put her down, and when he walked out the door, I picked her up with the blanket, and it got tangled up. And when I opened up the door, it got tangled, and I slipped.
Finding her revised answer to still be unsatisfactory, Lindsay changes her story yet again. This is perhaps the most disturbing version since it describes what must have been a very painful event for Hannah. Still, this version doesn't make logical sense. If it truly were an accident, Lindsay would have had no need to lie about it the entire time. Hannah was someone she took care of almost as frequently as her own biological children. If she was responsible for an accident that led to Hannah's death, it's reasonable to expect that Lindsay would feel tremendous guilt and express remorse over what happened. However, she's not done this yet, which could suggest that it wasn't an accident.
Back to under the chin here. This absolutely did not happen from a fall on a flat driveway. Okay?
Yeah. I believe you.
Okay.
How'd that happen?
So what happened to her neck?
I do not know. I thought it was the gravel at the ball.
We remember we went through this and you told us how you agreed with us that some of this stuff is
Yeah,
older?
of course.
Okay, so it's the exact same size as the fresh ones. And they look very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So either has she fallen on that very same gravel a couple of times, different stages?
Could be. I don't know.
Or-
They have gravel at his house too.
Okay.
I think you know about these two.
I don't know about them.
I think you do.
I don't. I honestly don't.
I'm positive you do.
Why would you think I know about them?
Because you just lied to us. How many times?
Lie.
What?
We are. We
You
give
do.
you how many times to tell us what happened with the fall. Okay?
Can you see how that doesn't look good?
Yeah.
And we understand. You call for help.
Of
Okay?
course.
We're not getting mad at you or anything. We just want to know what happened. We want to know everything that happened. We want to know how that happened. We want to know how that happened. We want to
Yeah.
know how the fingers and these things happened. This morning, the doctors called and said, tell us what happened, what you're being told.
Yeah.
The doctor said, no.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know anything about that. I really don't.
And here's another thing, okay? Dad, obviously, every time she comes home with a new scrape or bruise,
Mhm.
Dad asks her, what happened?
Yeah.
I know you told him,
Yeah.
but he's doing what any other dad would say.
Of course.
So what is she telling Dad whenever he says, what happened here? What happened there? What happened here? What's the one word or one thing she is saying?
I don't know.
Babysitter.
This statement isn't exactly true. As we heard earlier, that statement actually came from David, Hannah's grandfather. Perhaps the detectives are using Jason to elicit an emotional response based off of the personal relationship he had with Lindsay.
I really don't know what to say.
Start with these. How do these get here?
I didn't do that. I don't know.
Okay.
I really didn't do that. I don't know.
How does this happen?
I slapped her upside the head.
With what?
My hand.
Open, closed?
Yeah, open.
When Lindsay shrugs here, only one shoulder goes up. According to body language analysis, one shoulder shrug indicates that the person isn't confident with their response. So, even though this is a pretty huge admission for Lindsay to make during such a serious investigation, could she still be hiding something? She may think that if she's honest about a relatively smaller incident, investigators will see her as honest and believe her story about the big incident. The investigators remain calm and non-judgmental as she admits to why she slapped Hannah. If they had a strong reaction, she would be less likely to admit to doing anything else.
And
What caused that?
she took all of the... I don't know why she was in trouble. She took all the ketchup out and squirted it into the toilet while I wasn't looking.
That's frustrating.
And I'm like, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
What else had she done that day? Is this like a culmination of things building up?
She did.
What day was that?
Was it
This
last
week?
week? This week?
This week? Early this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I didn't think that I hurt her. I really didn't.
After she changed several aspects of her story, Lindsay eventually began to admit that she actually was the reason behind some of the wounds found all over Hannah's body. After an hour of digging, investigators were finally striking the answers they were looking for. Answers that coincided with Hannah's injuries.
So what caused this?
I smacked her on the chin for doing ketchup. That was the same thing.
Okay. So this is the same incident.
Yeah.
Tell us about this. Because this is not a smack. I just want to tell you right now, this is not a deep bone contusion from an open-handed smack. Okay? Knowing that.
I didn't.
No,
I wasn't like that.
listen. Knowing that we know that, what happened here?
The same thing. It was the same incident.
Tell us though, what happened to
When-
these specific bruises.
When I caught her doing the ketchup, I took it away and I put her on the potty because I think she had to go pee anyway. And I said, Hannah, you can't do the ketchup. And I got mad. I just slapped her upside the head and went like that.
Closed.
Yeah, like that.
How many times? Don't say once.
Couple times.
Because look, bruise.
Yeah,
bruise.
yeah.
Does he give you permission to discipline?
Yeah.
I mean, spank and stuff?
Which I don't really spank. I don't even know why I was mad that day.
So these were closed fists, like uppercuts.
Yeah.
Okay. And this was an open-handed smack? Was it really open-handed?
Yeah. Yes.
The bruises on the chest.
Honestly.
Listen.
No, I believe you.
Do you see the pattern here?
Yes.
Deny.
How about this big one down here?
I did not touch her chest. I'm definitely telling you the most positive truth. I did not touch her chest.
Okay. So look.
But I was mad that day.
Let's look at this. Okay.
And we also, sorry to interrupt, we also know exactly what these are.
Yeah.
They're, in all these cases, they're consistent. I mean, you can literally take 100 of them and put them up on the board right here, and they're all going to have the same exact bruises. And anyone who knows what they're talking about or what they're looking at will say, this is this, this is this, this is this, this is this.
That's up to you. Okay. We want to know what happened.
Yeah.
That's why I asked you if he gives you permission to
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Okay. I mean, what's discipline and what's not. Look, she's not yours.
Right.
Well,
I don't honestly, I don't like kids that aren't mine. You know, does that make me a bad person? I really
I
don't.
do like kids that are mine.
Yeah.
I have a lot.
Well, me and you are
I
different then.
had a lot. I've had some things going on. I had a miscarriage 2 weeks ago. That was really traumatic, and I
How
took care
far
of 4
along
days. 14 weeks.
How long ago was this?
Right at the end of February.
Have you been trying to have another one? Been having a hard time?
Yeah.
Do you know about her
This is
mother?
the second miscarriage.
Do you know about her mother?
Oh, yeah.
About the mother?
Yeah.
Does that piss you off?
Yes. I
This
don't know
is
why
how
I
you-
hurt her. I don't know why I even slapped her. Or was even
No, I'm
mad.
talking
I know
about-
why I was. It was me.
Does her mother piss you off?
Yes. Hardcore. Because I
Because
was
you're
never.
trying to have a child. Trust me, I know. I've gone through this.
Investigators are reinforcing the sense of sincerity to keep Lindsay open and talking.
I went through this. Me and my wife went through this for like 7 years. And you see all these heads
I have
popping out these kids that can't take care of them and don't even want them. Pisses you
And
off.
I don't do anything when I'm pregnant. Not that I drink or smoke or anything anyway, but like, I won't even like drink coffee when I'm pregnant.
Yep.
I've been having bad times.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
You have.
Your husband, what is it, fiance?
We got married, but we didn't sign a marriage certificate.
Your husband's never home.
He tries, but yeah, I'm by myself all the
And he's
time.
It's
out.
so frustrating.
With her dad.
No,
They don't work together.
they do, but like they don't.
They don't go out.
There's so
They don't-
many different
They
crews.
don't hit a bar, nothing after.
No, he
work?
does though.
Who does?
TJ, every once in a
Okay,
while.
So you're
That make you mad?
longer.
Yeah.
The consented search of her phone yielded proof that her and her husband's marriage was not as good as she tried to make it seem to detectives. The couple generally argued over text message to refrain from exposing their daughters to their myriad of problems. In reality, they fought quite frequently. Just 2 days before the incident, Lindsay had found TJ in their garage drinking with colleagues after work, instead of spending his very limited free time with her and their daughters. Needless to say, Lindsay was outraged at this show of inconsideration. They bickered about this via text message for days straight, leading up to the incident. Lindsay may have felt like she had very little control over her problems with TJ, his drinking, and her struggles with getting pregnant. But the one thing she did have control over was the kids. She may have felt like she could exert her power over them when she didn't have power or control in other situations in her life. She could also dole out whatever punishment she saw fit, and no one would intervene.
But I love babysitting. I love my life. I really do. I want another kid. I want to watch more kids.
Do you know, have you ever had with your other ones postpartum depression or anything like that?
Big time.
I don't know when that starts, but
The second one really bad.
The mention of postpartum depression is part of the Reed technique method to shift blame from Lindsay towards something else. In this case, the circumstances of the miscarriage.
And you're being honest with this
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
The hard part is just saying it out loud, because you probably haven't even said it out loud yet, right? You told DJ about it, about how you feel, about maybe going too far with Hannah.
it's too much. It's too much on one person.
It was. It was.
You got it out, okay? Let's finish it. Let's get it all the way through, okay?
It's probably the same incident. Was it? Was it the same incident?
What happened?
Hannah, you know better.
Okay.
You know better to hurt her. I wasn't even trying to hurt her. I was trying to get her
Well,
attention.
this
Like,
stuff
you
didn't
can't.
hurt her. This stuff's not what hurt her. I mean, it may have hurt, obviously, but
Yeah.
she's being disciplined.
And I'm not like that. I really am not an aggressive person. I've never even like,
Well, normally, but these aren't normal circumstances.
no, I'm not normal right now.
No,
I'm not.
no.
The detective is downplaying the injuries to make it easier for Lindsay to keep talking and admit to what really caused Hannah's traumatic brain injury. Her story is coming apart piece by piece as she continues to fold under the pressure of the interrogation.
End of February, you have the miscarriage. Okay? These are at different stages of healing. Was there other times where you've got her in the chest where some are healing and some aren't?
No, but I remember one morning she was,
What was that you just did?
I just kind of like squeezed her when I picked her up, like, cause Jason was late, and that morning he
And
was,
that's what these are.
yeah, probably.
These are little pinch bruises.
Yeah, where I
Yeah,
squeezed her
sure.
from,
The shirt does that.
because Jason's like, no, I gotta go, I'm in a hurry, because she kept wanting to give him more kisses, which is normal. He's like, will you grab her? I gotta go.
Okay.
So I remember grabbing her up and squeezing her, like, Hannah, you gotta stop, your dad's gotta go.
Okay.
I remember doing that.
Lindsay admits that the bruises on Hannah's shoulders were a product of her handling the toddler roughly. At this point, she's told the investigators about almost all the bruises and scratches found on Hannah's body. All but the one that ultimately sent her to the hospital.
And now that we're being honest, we got everything out on the table, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about when she fell into her head.
The interrogator is developing the narrative at this point and reinforcing the first part of the confession.
Because I don't.
Not the fall.
Listen.
No, I'm honestly telling you.
Were you mad when he dropped her off?
No. Not at all.
Did something happen Thursday morning?
No,
That made you mad?
No.
Because,
No.
it's.
Not at
It
all. Not
sounds-
one thing.
The fall, I don't want to say convenient, but now that you're being honest with us, now that
Yeah.
you're telling us everything, and we know, we kind of have an idea of your mindset.
The fall didn't happen.
You've
'cause
been
I hurt
through
myself
some.
too. I bruised myself right here, trying to catch myself.
Okay, so tell us exactly.
Bruised myself
Yeah.
right here, trying to.
Can I see
Yeah.
your knuckles?
The palm of the hand.
Yeah, right there.
Did you hit her in the head with it?
No. No, not at all. No.
Are you sure?
I'm
Because
positive.
here's the thing.
I'm dead.
That
Here-
absolutely matches with what we're dealing with.
The fall is not what knocked her
No.
unconscious. What knocked her unconscious?
It's really not.
I did not. I would never hurt anybody that bad. We did fall.
Did
We
you shake
fell.
her?
Yeah. Because I was trying to get her to come too.
How hard?
Like, Hannah,
No,
wake up.
I mean, prior to her passing out. Is that what caused this? Here's the thing. I don't think that you're strong enough or big enough to strike her
No.
to cause this damage.
No,
and
I
I don't
never
think the
do
doctor
that.
would either.
No, and I didn't hit her
So,
Thursday at all.
I believe you.
Yeah, we
I
fell.
believe that you did not hit her.
Yeah,
Tell me what happened.
we fell. She smacked her head. We got up and I shook her, trying to get her to come too.
I'm talking, this takes a shaking.
And I remember like putting her on my thing, I sat down like this on the floor. I was like holding her, like spread like her legs over like that. I'm like, Hannah, wake up, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, do you want some juice? What's wrong with you? Why are you waking up? You're
What
up.
did she do to make you shake her?
She wasn't answering me.
No, I'm not talking about.
This is
I'm
before
not-
the fall you're talking. Before she would have been unconscious, something had to have happened.
Tell us what happened.
Well, so she didn't want him to go to work. And he's like, I gotta go. So he rushed out and I was like, Hannah, you can't do that. Daddy's gotta go to work.
You shook her.
Yeah. I shook her, and I remember picking her up and squeezing her, and we did fall. But she did ask me for donut and couch before
How hard did you shake her? What was the shake? What was?
she was in trouble.
Show me. Yeah. Then you were angry.
Yeah.
This is the answer detectives have been looking for. According to Lindsay, she aggressively shook Hannah before she fell unconscious, which was likely what caused her cranial injury and subsequent fainting spell.
So how many times did you shake her?
How long?
How many seconds?
How many seconds?
I mean, just enough to where, Hannah, you know better than to do that. Why would you do that? Your dad's late. We can't do that. You know better than that. What are we gonna do tomorrow morning?
Like until she's whining, until she stops whining?
Yeah. I mean, it was a.
You shook her until she stopped whining?
Then I picked her up.
What did her face look like when you picked her up after she stopped whining?
Did she stop whining?
Yeah.
So you shook her for about 5 seconds. You picked her up, then you walk in the house. That's when you noticed she was unconscious.
Yeah. Well, we fell. We didn't fall. I'm not lying
Why
about
did you
that.
fall?
Because I slipped on the blanket and stuff.
Did
We
you
did fall.
snatch her up real quick and going in the house because you were angry still? Is that because you didn't fall, you think?
Fall.
Probably. Yeah. Because I was doing it quickly.
This story that Lindsay tells detectives is particularly interesting because, according to Jason, there was an incident at some point in December 2017 where Lindsay called him at work to say that she had just taken Hannah to urgent care. Her story then has some similarities to the one that Lindsay has just told detectives. At the time, she claimed that Hannah had tripped over her blanket when leaving the kitchen and hit her face on the concrete floor. However, this incident didn't appear on Hannah's records because, according to Jason, Lindsay claimed to have checked Hannah in under her own daughter's name in order to have her insurance pay for the visit to the doctor. Though he said that Lindsay told him Hannah was medically cleared, Jason never saw any paperwork. However, the little girl had 2 black eyes, a lump between her eyebrows and on her nose, and her nose was swollen. Around this same time, Lindsay's internet history shows that she had Googled how to watch a toddler who might have a concussion. Still, what is most interesting about all of this is that the police checked Lindsay's daughter's medical history, and there was no record of the visit. In fact, according to her medical history, Lindsay's daughter hadn't been seen by a doctor since November 2016. There was also no medical entries at the hospital under Hannah's name for this incident.
So when you got up, you noticed she was unconscious?
From the fall? Yes.
No. The fall's not what rendered her unconscious.
Well, the shake might have, but I didn't notice that. I just picked her up.
She
Right,
stopped
right.
whining
That's what
while
I'm
you
saying.
were
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
You had a hold of her and you don't know if she's conscious or not.
I didn't.
You fall down.
I didn't think
she
that
hits the ground.
You shook her some more, trying to wake her up.
Yeah.
Lindsay confessed to having physically struck Hannah on multiple occasions in the week leading up to her death, including slapping and hitting Hannah on the head, uppercutting Hannah on the chin with a closed fist, poking her in the chest hard enough to leave bruises, and grabbing and squeezing her tightly.
You
Are you
feel,
sorry?
I mean,
Are you kidding me?
yeah. Now that you've laid it all out,
I just cried.
you feel responsible for everything that happened.
I feel
What
weird.
would you say to Dad if you could talk to him right now?
I'm sorry.
Crying is usually taken as an inference of guilt during interrogations, but this late in the game, it's not something investigators need to develop at this point, as they've already got a full confession. But a question remains: why?
What would you say if he asked why?
Lonely and frustrated and sad.
I know what he would probably ask. I'm gonna ask you, why her? But why,
Because of the mischievous stuff. The other ones don't do
why
that.
he's gonna want to know why my daughter. It's out of the floor that's there, why my daughter?
Interestingly, police spoke with parents of children who Lindsay also babysat, and according to one person whose child had been in Lindsay's care for 1.5 years, they never noticed any injuries on their child. Another person whose daughter was also looked after by Lindsay for 1 year said that their child never had any bruises or complained of being hurt.
What I just said. Just some of the mischievous things and frustration. I don't know.
Okay.
Following this interrogation, Lindsay was escorted out of the interrogation room, arrested, and booked into jail. Hannah Wesche never recovered from her injuries and passed away in the hospital 9 days later, on March 18th, from what doctors called tremendous brain damage. Her death would officially turn this case into a homicide investigation. After she's told she's under arrest, Lindsay oddly asks if there are a bunch of people back there, and if she's going to be embarrassed. This may be a sign of her narcissistic traits. She appears to care more about what other people will think of her, rather than about the little girl she took care of for months. We spoke to someone who knew Lindsay personally, and they shared their opinion on a very different side of Lindsay than the one seen in interrogation. It's important to note that any personal opinions shared belong to the individual, and therefore do not reflect Iwu.
So I know Lindsay because she dated my brother, and she dated him for years. She was the matron of honor in my dad's wedding, and my family, we love her. We love her like she's family still. She is the sweetest person. Anyone that knows me, that knows her, if I've posted, they've commented. And they've all said the same thing. There's no way Lindsay could have done that.
As shocking as this case already is, perhaps the most intriguing aspect is actually Lindsay's trial, which would occur a year later in April of 2019. The ordeal lasted 8 days, and daring medical personnel who treated Hannah testified to the fact that Hannah's head injury would have immediately preceded her falling unconscious, and therefore must have been sustained at Lindsay's house. Footage of the interrogations was also played for the jurors, including the second interrogation where Lindsay repeatedly lied to detectives and ultimately admitted to being overwhelmed with Hannah. In a surprising twist, despite her detailed confession, Lindsay took the stand at her trial and vehemently denied having harmed Hannah at all during the day or week of the incident. She proceeded to claim that she was coerced into making false confessions because the detectives were being pushy and insinuating that Jason would take the fall if she didn't admit to something. In front of the jury, Lindsay insisted that Hannah did indeed just spontaneously pass out that morning. Not only that, but she asserted that everything else she'd told detectives, from the instances of her angrily hitting Hannah to Hannah squirting the ketchup in the toilet, was all a lie she made up to protect everybody else. She didn't think she would actually get in trouble for those things, since they were all simply instances of what she referred to as discipline. Despite Lindsay's argument, there were a lot more factors working against her.
I don't see her ever being abusive. Do I see her disciplining a child? I can't imagine her spanking a child. I can see her doing timeout or something like that because she was a teacher. I can't imagine what could have gone wrong. I don't even see her having a bad day that would warrant what they are saying she did.
Jason had readily agreed to take a polygraph test and passed, while Lindsay refused to take hers. Despite being notorious